Hey, this is the Undercard, and I'm going to be previewing and giving my picks for all the fights coming up in MMA this weekend, and telling you which fights I think you should be looking out for. So we got Bellator MMA on Friday and Saturday. Both should be pretty decent main events. And then on Saturday, you've got UFC Boise. That should be a card to look out for. It's pretty decent, flying below the radar, but there's some good key fights in there and some old names that I think you'll remember. So first up on the main card, we got Junior Dos Santos versus Blagoy Ivanov. That's going to be a good fight. Heavyweight fight. Really, this is going to be to see where Junior Dos Santos is and to see where Blagoy Ivanov stacks up in the UFC's competition. If you don't know Ivanov, he was the World Series of Fighting and now PFL heavyweight champion. He has a bunch of submission wins. He's really tricky on the ground. He's got a bunch of TKO stoppages. Really, really good. Not heavy hands like most of the heavyweight division, but really good heavyweight. This is definitely going to be a tough one for Junior. He's, 16-1-1? Really good record. By the way, dude was stabbed in the heart a few years ago in some bar altercation or something. Someone stabbed him in the heart. He went into a coma, made a full recovery, and he's since, I think, won like 4 fights since then. Crazy tough dude. I should be rooting for Junior, for JDS. He should win this one, being ranked number 8 in the UFC's division. He's taller, rangier, really good boxing. We all know JDS. But this is going to be to see where he is in his career, if he's dropped off, and see where Ivanov stacks up. I think I'm going to be picking Blagoy Ivanov for the upset here. Just because I think, he's got good boxing and he's going to somehow get into the clinch and work his submission game. This could be a decision. I'm not seeing a knockout from Ivanov out of nowhere, once he comes up this high into the UFC's division or rankings rather. But I don't know. Dude got stabbed in the heart. I'm picking the guy who got stabbed in the heart. That's crazy. Co-main event, Sage Northcutt making his return, Mr. UFC versus Zach Otto. Should be a gimme fight for Sage, right? Hoping the UFC wants Sage to win. Yeah, this should be pretty easy on Sage's part. He's been looking good his last couple fights. I don't know. They just got to take it slow with him. They got to, I think, keep feeding him lower rank guys until he can get better. They started him off, was he 19 when he joined the UFC? And they've been putting him against really good guys. And I think you got to take it slow with these guys that you sign early in their career. He's only 10-2. I don't know, but I think Sage should win. He's got that karate background. He's been training with those Team Alpha male guys. And since then, been mixing up his wrestling a lot, been really changing his game up. So I like that. I think we're going to get Sage Northcutt by TKO stoppage. Next up, you got Dennis Bermudez versus Rick Glyn. This is going to be an awesome fight. This is pretty low key on the card here. We've got Dennis Bermudez just lost against who? Korean Zombie. Yeah. I don't know. And then you got Rick Glyn, who just lost against Miles Jury. We're going to see him later on in the card. It's going to be a tough one. We're going to see. This is kind of like a crossroads fight. See where they're going from here, who's moving up into the top 10 rankings. Dennis Bermudez got knocked out. Rick Glyn trying to make his way in. A tough one to choose. Rick Glyn, really good creative striking. The problem is he just moves straight forward. Dennis Bermudez, he can just get caught. He explodes too. He gets caught standing still a lot. It's how Korean Zombie got him with that uppercut. I could see Rick Glyn getting that same uppercut. I could see him doing something like that. I'm going to go with Rick Glyn on this one. I like Dennis Bermudez, but I'm going to pick the Gladiator Rick Glyn. Next up, we've got Randy Brown versus Nico Price. Randy Brown, really good striker, really good at jiu-jitsu, just beat Mickey Gall. Then you got Nico Price, really good striker. He's beat a lot of good guys, but then he fell short against Vicente Luque. One of his, it was not the last fight, the one before, maybe two before that. And, you know, he can get exposed by a real crisp boxer that'll tear up that front leg and will have a clean jab. Nico tries to just load up and throw spin kicks and those crazy kicks and stuff and just load up on a big shot and knock out, which works a lot. He's 11-1, but he can get picked apart that way. But he's also got really good submission skills, really, really good jiu-jitsu. He just keeps going for submissions, you know, even if he's held down on the ground. I'm going to go with Nico Price on this one. I think Nico Price is going to pick it up. Maybe a decision, but I got Nico. I think Randy Brown's, I just don't think he's going to have the striking to keep up with him, and their jiu-jitsu is probably level. So I'm going to go with Nico. Next up, you got Miles Jury versus Chad Money Mendes. If you guys remember, Chad Mendes fought Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor, Frankie Edgar, all in a row. And those are some tough opponents. Or actually, I think he had one more in between the Frankie Edgar fight. But his last fight was the loss to Frankie Edgar. Dude's a contender. He's unranked right now just from his, you know, layoff with USADA for the last couple of years. So he's coming back. This is going to be a tough fight. Chad Mendes, great wrestler, great striking. He changes it up going, you know, level changes a lot, body to head. He kind of exposed Conor in that way with his grappling. He's a shorter guy, so he'd get in with those low double legs, body lock, and then he'd come up with an upper overhand right. You know, he'd mix up his striking. He was beating Conor for those first couple rounds till he got gassed and picked apart. So I think he's learned from that. I think he's learned from his last couple losses, and we're going to see him get back to it. I think he's definitely a contender for that 145 division. We've been looking for new people coming up in there, and he's not new. He's a name we remember, but he's a great fight and great matchup for any of the top guys. So this is going to be a way for him to come back and get a win over a good guy who's, what is he ranked? Miles Jury ranked number 12. Yeah. I think Chad Mendes is going to win this one. Miles Jury's no joke, though. He just beat Rick Glyn in a really good fight. He's really smart. He doesn't get the finish, but he's smart, and he'll pick his opponent apart as he goes. So I think this will be a really good fight. I think this will be a good fight, but I got Chad Mendes. He's just he's fought way tougher competition. Next up, we have Kat Zingano versus Marion Reneau. Bunch of old names on this card. Kat Zingano making a comeback. She had a year layoff, but you know, she's kind of been off and on. I think this is going to be your chance to really show that she's a contender. She's probably going to get, you know, boosted right up to the front of the line in that division just because people are wanting a name right now to sell some fights against Amanda Nunes. And I don't know. Kat gets real emotional with her fighting. She really just wants to brawl out there. As long as she can keep from doing that, I think she'll be able to get this one. So Kat Zingano. And then on the FS1 prelims, Eddie Wineland versus Alejandro Perez. Alejandro Perez, I don't think a lot of people know about him, but he's definitely somebody to look out for. He's a really, really good striker. Yeah, I'm going with Perez on this one. Yeah. Then we have Darren Elkins versus Alexander Volkanovski. This is a fight that should be on the main card. This is going to be one to look out for. If you're wondering whether or not you're going to even start watching until the main event, main card at least, this is one of those early fights you're going to want to catch. And the one before, but we'll get to that. We got Darren Elkins versus Alexander Volkanovski. If you don't know Volkanovski, he's was he Australian? Yeah, 17-1. He's a super dynamic striker. A lot of elbows, you know, really, really fast hands. But he's mainly a wrestler, and his wrestling is insane. He'll get that body lock, goes for those leg trip takedowns on the cage, and then will just sit in half guard on top and just Khabib Nurmagomedov style, landing those left hands in the half guard from top And he's cool just staying there. He never tries to really pass. He'll just sit there in half guard, especially against a guy with good jiu-jitsu. He doesn't want to let them really work anything else, move in the side control or anything like that, sit in their guard. He'll get in a half guard and then just land elbows, left hands until they try to get up, and then he takes them back down again. His wrestling is crazy. His striking is really, really good. He's got really heavy hands. And, what does he average? Like 5 takedowns? Yeah. Takedown accuracy, 60% or 52% almost. Really, really good. Really, really good wrestler. Really dynamic, really hard striker. So, not to count out Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins is super tough. I'm going to say top 5 toughest dudes in the UFC right now. He came at that comeback win. He had a couple of comeback wins, and where he was bloody and he was, dying those first couple of rounds, and then comes back with a knockout or a submission. So you can't count Darren Elkins out. I would not. If you told me he came out of this and won, I would not be surprised. So Darren Elkins can totally get this, but I've got Alexander Volkanovski by. Now I don't want to go TKO. Darren's so tough. I'm gonna go decision. I'm gonna go with a decision on that one, or doctor stoppage. It'd be crazy. So this next fight is another one to look out for, only because it's going to be Justin Scoggins versus Said Nurmagomedov. If you recognize that name, that's the 155 champion right now, Khabib Nurmagomedov's cousin, Said. 11-1, big prospect coming in. This is going to be his first UFC fight, and I think we're going to see a clinic. I think we're going to see him just tear up Justin Scoggins. So that's going to be one to look out for. I'm going to run through the rest of these. Nothing really crazy. Kurt Hollyball versus Reneau, Barcelos. Reneau, I'm going to go with him. This is going to be his UFC debut, but he has a really good ground game, and I think I'm going to go, I'm just going to go with him. Next up, we got Liz Carmouche versus Jennifer Maia. This is Jennifer Maia's debut. Liz Carmouche is so tough and so strong in that division. I'm gonna go with Liz Carmouche just because I know her. I know her ground game is really good, but we'll see. But I'm gonna go with Liz Carmouche. We got Mark De La Rosa versus Elias Garcia. Not much about Elias Garcia. He's 3-0. I think he's gonna get eaten up by Mark De La Rosa. De La Rosa's unfortunately, he got beat by Tim Elliott, got submitted in his last fight. But before that, he had a string of submission wins, a couple TKO wins. He's super fast. I'm going to give it to De La Rosa. Got more experience. Was he 9-1? I'm going to give it to De La Rosa on that one. And then the opening fight of the card, Jessica Aguilar versus Jodie Esquibel. I got Aguilar just because of her experience. I think she's just... I got Aguilar because of her experience, her takedowns. I think she's pretty good all around. I'm going to go with Aguilar on that. So that's the UFC Boise card. Pretty decent fights going on that main card. And then on Bellator, we've got Bellator 202 on Friday and then Bellator 203 on Saturday. Title fights on both cards. On Friday, you've got Julia Budd defending her featherweight title on Bellator. And then on... Saturday, you got Patricio Pitbull, one of the Pitbull brothers, defending his title. And that's on Saturday against Daniel Weichel, who I believe also beat him once before, if I'm not. Oh, he beat Weichel last time. So Weichel's going to get another chance to get him. I think Patricio's going to win. I like both of those Pitbull brothers. So those are both going to be decent fights to watch out for. And then that UFC Boise card. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter at MMA Undercard, or my personal Twitter, Instagram at Who's Matt Rouch. So that'll all be down in the description. Again, like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.